Hey there and welcome on back. As always, I'm Carl with Target's Attitude, absent-minded professor of knives and all things sharp. So I'm back. Grab your pens and paper. Class is about to begin. Today we're taking a look at a newer one from Buck, the Hexam. Yes, the Buck Hexam SUR, and it's calling it a lock back, but I don't see any lock on the back of that. It's a 261 to be exact. The lock is kind of neat. Before we get too far into this, let's get the syllabus work out of the way, shall we? If you're new to the channel, welcome. Here on Fridays we do mainly knife reviews. Occasionally I'll review a piece of camping equipment or survival equipment. You know, flashlights, compasses, cooking gear, that sort of thing. But mainly knives. Then on Mondays I will do a video in the What You Really Need to Know series. This is aimed more at people who are new to the world of knives and want to learn more about them. They're curious about what we mean by all the exotic terms we start using, like drop back, drop point, G10, and occasionally things about how to care for your knives. There's still some information good for those who've been in the field for a while, but you know, and occasionally I learn something new too from some of the comments that are left down below, so I hope to see you there. For those of you who've been with us for a while, welcome on back. I'm glad you can make it again. Normally I'd ask you about subscribing, but I think we'll skip that for right now and get on into the knives, because that's after all what you really came for. The Buck Hexam is a rather interesting knife. As I say, they're calling it a lock back at my distributor, but the lock mechanism is right there. It's almost like the ball lock that Spyderco uses, or some of the button lock that CRKT uses. As you can see, you pull it back, down, and even though it's got a tang right there, you don't really need to use it. It's also got some jimping here on the front of the blade, which you could use almost like a front flipper. But again, you don't need to use it if you don't want to. It is unfortunately one of the ones that Buck is starting to have made in China instead of here in the US, which is a bit disappointing. But it also means that it's going to be a whole lot more affordable. Suggested retail price is right at $50, which isn't bad. And it still seems to have Buck's quality control on it, even if it doesn't use Buck's famous 420HC steel. Instead, it uses a 7CR 17 MOV steel, which has for years been very popular with surgical tools. So yeah, there's a reason for it. So it should have a very nice edge, and should keep that edge fairly nicely. Very fidget friendly, as you can see. Does have a little bit of a learning curve, but not bad. I wish I could show you that lock mechanism in use better, but I can't work it without covering it up with my finger. So yeah. The handles are an injection molded polypropylene, which is a good tough material, very lightweight. Don't know if you can see it, but the frame is skeletonized, which is nice, keeps the weight down. Shipping weight is right at a quarter pound, maybe a touch more. Has a nice deep pocket clip. Unfortunately, you can't flip the pocket clip. It's stuck with only usable on that side, which makes it a little difficult for people who like left-hand carries. Kind of sorry they didn't make the pocket clip flip it would have been very nice. But that's the way it goes. Yeah, the blade itself is right at 3 1/4 inches. They call it a drop point, which, yeah, it does drop. Then you've got a clip at the very end, so I'd probably classify it as a clip point instead of a drop point. But in all honesty, it's kind of a mixture of the two. Got a very sweet belly on it, so it should be good at cutting things. Let's see, shall we? As always, this is straight out of the box. No touch-up, no nothing like that. So we'll start with a piece of scrap paper and see what that does. And that is very nice. Very sweet indeed. Let's move on to a piece of cardboard. Let's see here. Through fairly nicely. Sorry, my hand does not want to grip today, but it hasn't for a while, unfortunately. But I'm still getting through it, so. Yeah, it's got a flat grind, but the back is still thick enough that it's just a little tricky to get it through. It'll still open up a piece of, cut up a piece of cardboard or open up any box I can think of. This takes maybe a little bit more pressure than I could wish. Let's see here. Not that. Next, hang packaging test. Let's see how it handles this Gold Peak tea bottle. Tip went in fairly nicely. Maybe not as well as some, but a whole lot better than others. Made fairly short work of cutting it too. We'll just put that down there. Now we'll get onto a piece of paracord. And yes, Birdman, I'm still using the paracord you sent me. That was a great gift. Man, that took no pressure at all to cut that. Let's see here. Beautiful. Let's see. Let's get down to the really teeny tiny loop, the ones that I can barely hold on to. Let's see how it does with that. And it launches out in space because I can't hold on to it. That sucks, but there it goes. So let's see here. We did paper, cardboard. Yeah, let's get some leather out here and see how it does on a piece of leather. Very sweet on the leather. I mean, my goodness. I can't complain about that at all. That's gorgeous. Okay. Next thing. Zip ties. Zip ties. Everyone by now knows my opinion of zip ties. They are the handiest thing ever. Great at gun shows for securing your gun so they can't accidentally be loaded or fired. Great for securing things to boards, securing wires when you're trying to do a wiring harness. Even great for doing bushcrafting. You can use these to hold something together until you get a better wrap and lashing with paracord. Just great all the right way around. But pain to cut, so let's see how this does. 1, 2. Okay, not great, but okay. If we're going to try trimming it. That didn't quite work. Instead, it kind of pulled it out. Well, that's okay. Let's see here. A piece of cherry out of my wood shop. Let's see here. That belly, it's going to be hard to chop, but let's see. Oh, chopped beautifully. Yeah, that works nice. Okay. Normally I'd go for a softer wood, but let's go ahead and see how it does at whittling up the cherry. If you're looking to feather it up, it does a beautiful job. How about chopping? Let's here. Start chopping over here. Not doing a bad job at chopping it either. I still don't know where my leather glove disappeared to. And this thing has enough of an edge on the back. Yeah. We'll use an old rag. Too long. Here we go. You notice we're going to be going across the grain here with this. But let's see what happens. Not bad, except I'm feeling a little bouncing in the blade as I hammer it right at the pivot point. So I don't think we'll take that any further. Don't need it breaking my hand. I've got too much to do to spend the day going to the hospital to get the stitches in my palm, you know? So far, nothing that I couldn't wipe off as far as markings. Let's get out the wiring harness here and see how we do with this. Ordinarily, yeah, I'd want a pair of wire cutters, but what happens if you're in the middle of nowhere and have to repair the wiring harness to your trailer or something like that? I cut the wires pretty nicely. Let's see here. Grab one piece of this. And here, split the wires in half. That's good. Let's see about stripping it. That was quite easy. Quite nice. Oh, one thing we didn't do the stab test. Let's see here. Very nice penetration on the blade. Wish my wife hadn't thrown away that can from last night. I'd love to see how this goes through a standard soup can or number 15 can from the kitchen, but she did. I'm not about to go diving through the garbage trying to find it. So let's just go back to the piece of paper and... Oh no, I know what I almost forgot. Ferro rod. Let's see how it does on a ferro rod. It's got somewhat rounded edges, but oh my. That is some beautiful sparks. Very sweet. I can't complain about that at all. So it's definitely going to let you start a fire if you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and your car's is down for the count for the night. Very nice. But still got to test, make sure we didn't do any damage to the blade. Let's see here. Yeah. No damage whatsoever. So I don't expect it to hold that edge quite as well as, say, a Civivi with D2 or Nitro V. Definitely wouldn't want to try to match it up against Artisan's newest steel. But you know what? For $50 or less knife, I'm really liking this. It's doing quite well. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new, and hope to see you back again next week. In the meantime, I'll leave you with a couple videos over here I think you'll enjoy. As always, you can hit that target right there to subscribe. I hope you do. And remember, it may be ability decides what you can do. It may be motivation decides what you will do. But it's attitude decides how well you do it. So if you're going to do anything, do it with attitude. See you later now. Bye.